Have you been feeling weaker lately? Like it's harder to get out of a chair, lift a grocery bag, or walk up a flight of stairs without feeling tired? If you're over 60, this isn't just in your head. It could be a real sign that your muscle mass is shrinking, a natural process called sarcopenia that happens as we age. But here's something many people don't know. Some of the foods you eat every day may be silently making this process worse. In today's video, we're going to uncover 7 common foods that could be destroying your muscle strength without you even realizing it. From sweet treats to fizzy drinks, from fast food to ultra-processed meals, these foods might taste good in the moment, but they're slowly robbing you of the strength you need to stay active, independent, and in control of your life. Losing muscle isn't just about looking weaker. It affects your balance, your posture, your energy, and even your ability to do things you love, like gardening, playing with grandkids, or walking around the block. The good news is, it's not too late to protect what you have and even rebuild what you've lost. But it all starts with knowing what to avoid. In this video, we'll break down each food, explain what it does to your muscles, and share healthier alternatives that actually support muscle growth and repair. These aren't complicated diets or expensive supplements, just simple everyday changes that can make a big difference. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1, sugar, the sweet enemy of your muscles. Martha, a 72-year-old retired nurse, had always enjoyed a little sweetness in her day. A cookie after lunch, a sweetened coffee in the afternoon, maybe a slice of cake at her weekly church group. It seemed harmless, a treat here and there, something to brighten her routine. But over time, she noticed she was feeling weaker. Her arms didn't have the same strength when lifting groceries, and her legs felt less stable climbing stairs. She assumed it was just age catching up with her. It wasn't until her doctor gently pointed out the link between sugar and muscle loss that Martha began to understand what was really going on. Sugar is everywhere, in our drinks, our snacks, even in foods we wouldn't expect, like bread and sauces. But what many people don't realize is that excessive sugar intake, especially after the age of 60, can quietly accelerate muscle breakdown. When we eat sugar, our blood glucose spikes, prompting a release of insulin. Over time, high levels of insulin and blood sugar can lead to insulin resistance, which interferes with the body's ability to use protein properly for muscle maintenance and repair. This becomes especially dangerous for older adults, who are already losing muscle mass naturally. But that's not the only problem. Sugar also promotes chronic inflammation, the kind that lingers quietly in your body and damages tissues over time, including your muscles. This ongoing inflammation can interfere with how your body rebuilds and strengthens muscle fibers, making it harder to recover from everyday activity or rebuild after exercise. It's like trying to repair a house while a fire is still smoldering inside. Nothing quite sticks, and the damage continues. And then there's the issue of energy drain. While sugar might give you a quick burst of energy, it's often followed by a crash, leaving you feeling tired, sluggish, and less likely to move. Less movement means less muscle stimulation, and without regular use, muscles weaken even faster. It's a vicious cycle. Sugar makes you inflamed and tired, which keeps you inactive, which leads to even more muscle loss. For many older adults, sugar has become a quiet companion, comforting but destructive. The key is not to eliminate all sweetness from your life, but to make smarter choices. Martha started by swapping out her sweetened coffee for one with cinnamon and oat milk. She replaced cookies with fresh fruit, especially berries, which not only satisfy cravings, but also offer antioxidants that fight inflammation. Instead of sugary desserts at gatherings, she began bringing her own homemade snacks made with natural sweeteners like dates or a touch of honey. And to her surprise, her friends loved them too. After just a few months of reducing her sugar intake and making those small changes, Martha began to feel stronger. Her hands were steadier, Her balance improved, and she could walk longer distances without needing to rest. The transformation wasn't dramatic, but it was steady, and it gave her a new sense of control over her aging body. If you've been feeling weak or tired more often than usual, take a closer look at the sugar in your daily routine. It might not seem like much, but over time, those small doses can chip away at your strength and independence. Start by reading food labels. Sugar hides under many names: high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, and more. Choose whole foods whenever possible and retrain your taste buds to enjoy the natural sweetness of fruit, spices, and unsweetened foods. Your muscles are still capable of growing, of getting stronger, no matter your age, but they need the right environment to thrive, and removing excess sugar might be one of the most powerful first steps you can take. Martha thought she was just enjoying a treat. What she didn't realize was that sugar had been quietly stealing her strength. Don't let it steal yours. Have you noticed how sugar affects your energy and strength? Have you ever tried cutting back? And if so, what changed? Share your story. The next person who hears it might be looking for the courage to do the same. Coming up next, we'll talk about another common habit that can rob your muscles of strength even faster than sugar. And it's something many people think is harmless in moderation: alcohol. Number 2, alcohol stealing strength from your muscles. For many older adults, a glass of wine with dinner or a cold beer on the weekend feels like a well-deserved reward after decades of hard work. That was certainly true for Robert, a 70-year-old former construction supervisor who had prided himself on staying active well into his retirement. He didn't consider himself a heavy drinker. Just a glass of red wine with meals, maybe 2 or 3 beers a week when watching a game with friends. It never seemed like a problem. But slowly, Robert began noticing things were changing. His legs felt weaker, his balance wasn't what it used to be, and his muscles seemed to be shrinking, even though his weight stayed the same. What he didn't realize was that his moderate alcohol intake, something he thought was harmless, might have been quietly working against his muscle health all along. As we age, our ability to maintain and build muscle becomes more fragile. Muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to repair and grow muscle, naturally slows down. Alcohol interferes with that process on several levels. First, it reduces the rate at which your body can create new muscle tissue, especially after physical activity. So even if you walk every day or lift light weights, alcohol may prevent your muscles from reaping the benefits. Instead of rebuilding stronger, they're left in a weakened state. Over time, this contributes to a gradual and often unnoticed loss of strength, balance, and stability. What's more, alcohol contributes to chronic inflammation, a silent force that damages muscle fibers and connective tissues throughout the body. This inflammation isn't always visible, but it slows down recovery, increases muscle soreness, and makes your joints feel stiff and tight. As inflammation accumulates, it not only affects your muscles, but also your overall energy levels, making you feel tired more often, which in turn discourages movement and leads to even more muscle loss. Alcohol also has a sneaky way of interfering with your nutrition. Many older adults unknowingly replace nutrient-dense meals with alcohol or feel less hungry after drinking, leading to reduced protein intake, which is the very thing muscles need most as you age. Worse, alcohol can impair your digestion and absorption of nutrients like vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium, all of which play a role in maintaining muscle function, strength, and bone health. Dehydration, another common effect of alcohol, also negatively impacts muscle tissue, making it more prone to cramping and weakness. Robert didn't quit drinking entirely, but after learning about the connection between alcohol and muscle loss, he decided to make some changes. He started by replacing his wine with sparkling water a few nights a week and saved his weekend beer for special occasions instead of making it a habit. He also made a conscious effort to eat more protein with his meals: grilled chicken, beans, eggs, and even a protein smoothie in the morning. Within 2 months, he noticed small but powerful changes. He could walk longer distances without fatigue, his legs felt more stable, and he no longer feared losing his balance on uneven ground. He even felt clearer mentally, more refreshed in the mornings, and more motivated to stay active. It's important to remember that alcohol doesn't need to be a daily habit to have an impact. Even moderate drinking, if done consistently over time, can slowly chip away at your strength and independence. You don't need to give up everything to feel better. Just becoming more mindful of how often and how much you drink can make a significant difference in how your body feels, heals, and ages. Your muscles are not just for lifting or walking. They are your foundation for independence. And alcohol, though subtle, may be silently loosening that foundation. Have you ever made changes to your drinking habits and noticed a difference in your strength or energy? What did you learn from the experience? Your story might be the spark someone else needs to reclaim their health. Coming up next, let's talk about a modern convenience that's become a major threat to aging muscles. Fast food. It may be quick and cheap, but what is it really costing your body? Number 3, fast food, convenience that weakens you over time. Linda, a 68-year-old retired teacher, had always been fairly active. She enjoyed walking in the park, tending her small garden, and volunteering at the local library. But after her husband passed, cooking for one started to feel like too much effort. It was easier to swing by the drive-thru on her way home or microwave a ready-made meal in front of the TV. Burgers, fries, breakfast sandwiches. Fast food became a source of comfort and convenience. For a while, it seemed harmless. But over time, Linda began to feel sluggish. Her legs lost strength, her arms felt weaker, and everyday tasks began to take more energy than they used to. She was shocked when her doctor told her that these easy meals were slowly contributing to the loss of her muscle mass. Fast food is everywhere. Easy to find, quick to order, and often cheaper than buying fresh groceries. But what it offers in convenience, it takes away in nutrition. Most fast food items are high in saturated fats, refined carbs, sodium and added sugars, and low in the quality protein your body needs to maintain a strong, healthy muscles. After the age of 60, your body requires even more high-quality protein and essential nutrients just to preserve the muscle you already have. When meals are heavy in calories but light in nutrition, your body gets energy, but not the building blocks it needs to maintain strength. The typical fast food meal is also loaded with inflammatory ingredients: processed meats, fried oils, preservatives, and artificial additives, all of which trigger low-grade inflammation in the body. This chronic inflammation wears away at muscle tissue over time, slows healing, and increases your risk for conditions like insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome, both of which are linked to accelerated muscle loss. And because fast food is often consumed alongside sugary sodas or followed by processed desserts, the effects only multiply. Another problem is that fast food can lead to imbalanced eating patterns. Many older adults who rely on takeout or processed meals eat too few fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins, missing out on critical nutrients like magnesium, potassium, vitamin D, and omega-3 fatty acids, all of which are essential for muscle health. Fast food may fill your stomach, but it doesn't nourish your body. Worse yet, the more you eat it, the more you crave it, as many fast food items are engineered to be hyper-palatable and even mildly addictive. Linda didn't realize how much fast food had become part of her routine until she paused and took a closer look. With the help of her daughter, she started making small changes. They cooked together once a week and filled her freezer with home-cooked meals she could reheat just as quickly as fast food. She swapped her drive-through breakfast for a protein smoothie or a boiled egg with fruit. Instead of burgers and fries, she learned to make simple stir-fries with frozen vegetables and grilled chicken. It didn't take long before she noticed changes. Her energy came back, her legs felt stronger, and she could get through her day without needing a nap. Cooking became part of her healing and part of reclaiming her independence. It's not about perfection. Everyone has days when convenience wins. But when fast food becomes the norm instead of the exception, it silently erodes your strength and vitality. You deserve better than meals that weaken you. Your body needs real food, food that fuels, repairs, and builds you up from the inside out. Preparing simple meals at home doesn't have to be complicated. Even just 1 or 2 healthy meals a day can begin to tip the scale in your favor. If fast food has become your go-to, you're not alone. But now that you know what it's doing to your muscles, you have the power to choose differently, to eat for strength instead of speed. What's one meal you could change this week? In the next section, we'll take a closer look at something that might be hiding in your fridge or pantry right now. A sweet, bubbly drink that seems harmless, but could be slowly draining the life from your muscles. Soda. Number 4. Soda fizzing away. Your muscle power. Frank, a 74-year-old retired factory worker, had a simple routine. Every afternoon, he'd sit by the window with a crossword puzzle and crack open a cold soda. It was a habit he'd had for decades, one he never thought much about. "It helps me think," he'd say with a chuckle. But over the years, something had changed. His legs didn't feel as steady, and getting up from a chair took more effort than it used to. His doctor told him he was losing muscle mass faster than expected and suggested he take a closer look at his diet, especially his daily soda. At first, Frank didn't see the connection. What did a fizzy drink have to do with his muscles? As it turned out, quite a lot. Soda, whether it's regular or diet, is one of the most damaging beverages for aging muscles. Regular soda is loaded with added sugars, and when consumed regularly, these sugars trigger chronic inflammation throughout the body. This inflammation interferes with the body's ability to build and maintain muscle tissue. After age 60, your body is already working harder to preserve lean mass. Adding inflammatory substances like sugar makes that job even more difficult. Over time, this low-level inflammation wears away at muscle fibers, reduces strength, and slows recovery after any kind of physical activity. But the problems don't stop at sugar. Many sodas contain phosphoric acid, a substance used to add tang and preserve shelf life. Phosphoric acid disrupts the delicate balance of calcium and phosphorus in the body, leading to decreased calcium absorption. This doesn't just affect bone health, it also impacts how muscles contract and relax. Muscles rely on calcium to function properly. When calcium levels drop or become imbalanced, muscle function can decline, leading to cramps, weakness, and slower reflexes. In older adults, this can increase the risk of falls and reduce overall mobility. Diet sodas pose a different but equally concerning threat. Though they contain no sugar, many are made with artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose. These substances may seem harmless, but research suggests they can disrupt gut bacteria, increase cravings for sweet foods, and potentially interfere with insulin sensitivity, which plays a role in how your body processes protein and energy. In some people, diet soda can actually trigger the same inflammatory responses as sugar-sweetened soda, putting muscle health at risk in a more subtle way. Another issue is that soda often replaces healthier beverages. When you're drinking soda instead of water, milk, or protein-rich smoothies, you miss out on hydration and nutrients your muscles desperately need. Dehydration affects muscle elasticity, joint lubrication, and overall strength. Even mild dehydration can make you feel tired, sluggish, and less likely to move, leading to further muscle loss. The more soda you drink, the more you deplete the support your muscles require. Frank didn't give up soda overnight, but he started small. He swapped one daily soda for a glass of water with lemon. Then he discovered he liked herbal iced teas and even enjoyed sparkling water with a splash of cranberry juice. Slowly, the cravings faded. After 2 months, he realized he wasn't just drinking less soda, he was standing up more easily, walking longer distances, and feeling more steady on his feet. His doctor was surprised at how much his muscle function had improved with just one lifestyle change. Frank smiled and said, "Turns out I didn't need the fizz to think after all." If you're someone who enjoys soda regularly, it's worth asking, what is that soda really giving you? And what is it quietly taking away? You don't have to quit forever, but cutting back could be one of the most powerful choices you make for your body, especially for your strength, balance, and independence. What could you drink instead that nourishes your body instead of draining it? The next time you reach for a soda, pause and consider your muscles. They're counting on you to make the better choice. Next, we'll take a look at another hidden threat. Not in one specific food, but in a whole category of meals that many older adults rely on: ultra-processed foods. These convenient items may be easy to prepare, but they may also be quietly breaking down your strength from the inside out. Number 5. Ultra-processed foods. Hidden dangers in everyday meals. Susan, a 67-year-old grandmother of 4, prided herself on being independent. She lived alone, did her own shopping, and made sure her pantry was always stocked. But over the years, her grocery cart had slowly filled up with more boxes and fewer fresh foods. Canned soups, frozen dinners, packaged snacks, and instant oatmeal became her staples. They were easy, quick, and didn't make a mess in the kitchen. But one day, as she reached up to grab a box of crackers from a high shelf, she felt a weakness in her arms that startled her. She'd always been strong, but lately even small tasks were feeling harder. Her doctor mentioned that her muscle tone was declining faster than expected and asked her about her diet. That conversation led Susan down a path she never expected, discovering the hidden damage that ultra-processed foods were doing to her body. Ultra-processed foods are everywhere, and they often masquerade as healthy or low-fat options. But behind the colorful packaging and long shelf life lies a serious problem. These foods are stripped of their natural nutrients and packed with additives, preservatives, artificial flavors, and cheap ingredients that offer very little support to your body, especially your muscles. These kinds of foods are typically low in high-quality protein and fiber, and high in sugar, sodium, unhealthy fats, and refined carbohydrates. That's a terrible combination when it comes to aging muscles. As we grow older, our muscles need consistent, quality protein and a steady supply of nutrients to repair and maintain strength. Ultra-processed foods often lack both. Eating these types of foods regularly leaves your body without the tools it needs to rebuild muscle, even if you're staying active. And it gets worse. Many of the additives found in ultra-processed foods actually trigger inflammation in the body, further accelerating muscle breakdown. Your body ends up spending more energy dealing with irritation and imbalance rather than focusing on healing and strength. Even the convenience of these foods can become part of the trap. Because they're easy to prepare, we tend to eat more of them and move less. They don't satisfy hunger in the same way that whole foods do, often leading to overeating or poor portion control. And because they're low in real nutrients, they leave you feeling sluggish and tired, making it less likely you'll get up and move, which your muscles desperately need in order to stay healthy. Susan realized that many of the foods she was eating every day, frozen entrees, crackers, packaged cereals, and instant meals, were ultra-processed. It was a hard habit to break, but she took small steps. She started by replacing one processed meal a day with something fresh and simple: scrambled eggs with vegetables, a tuna salad with olive oil, or a bowl of lentil soup. She also stocked up on healthier snacks like fruit, yogurt, and nuts instead of chips or cookies. Over time, she noticed her strength returning. Her arms felt steadier when she lifted groceries, and she had more energy to play with her grandchildren when they came to visit. The truth is, ultra-processed foods can feel like friends. They're familiar, fast, and often comforting. But they're not harmless. Over time, they chip away at your health, weakening your muscles and increasing your risk for falls, fatigue, and loss of independence. The good news is that change doesn't have to be dramatic. One real nourishing meal at a time can begin to reverse the damage and rebuild your strength. Take a moment and think about what's in your pantry or freezer. How many items come in boxes, bags, or cans? How many have ingredients you can't pronounce? You don't have to throw them all away, but what could you replace this week with something fresh, simple, and nourishing? Up next, we'll talk about a specific ingredient hiding in many processed foods and fried favorites that does more than just harm your heart. It may be directly attacking your muscles too: trans fats. Number 6, trans fats, silent saboteurs of muscle health. Thomas, a 72-year-old retired mechanic, had never been much of a health nut. He enjoyed his morning donut, his afternoon bag of chips, and the occasional fried chicken dinner on weekends. "I've earned it," he'd say, thinking back to years of hard labor and long hours under the hood of a car. But in the past year, Thomas had started noticing something he couldn't ignore. His legs felt weaker, he had trouble lifting himself out of chairs, and his balance seemed off. At first, he thought it was just aging, but after a fall in his garage left him shaken, his doctor asked him a simple question: how often do you eat fried or packaged foods? That conversation opened his eyes to something he had never considered: the hidden dangers of trans fats and how they were quietly stealing his strength. Trans fats, also known as partially hydrogenated oils, were once common in many packaged and fried foods. Though regulations in recent years have reduced their presence in store-bought products, they still exist in some fast foods, baked goods, frozen items, and even margarine. What makes trans fats so dangerous isn't just their effect on the heart, which is well known, but their less obvious impact on muscle health, especially in people over 60. These fats promote inflammation at the cellular level and interfere with the body's ability to use insulin, a hormone critical for building and preserving muscle tissue. When insulin function is impaired, your muscles have a harder time absorbing the nutrients they need for growth and repair. The presence of trans fats in the body also increases oxidative stress, a condition where harmful molecules known as free radicals begin to damage muscle cells. This weakens your muscles from within and slows down the recovery process after even mild activity. Over time, trans fats can reduce muscle strength, contribute to faster muscle wasting, and make it harder for older adults to maintain mobility and independence. One of the trickiest parts of trans fats is that they're often hidden. Even when a label says 0 grams trans fat, the product may still contain small amounts if it has less than 0.5 grams per serving. That may not sound like much, but if you eat several processed items a day, a cookie here, a frozen pizza there, those tiny amounts add up. And because muscle health declines gradually, the damage often goes unnoticed until it's already had a major impact. After Thomas learned about this, he started checking labels and cutting back on fried and packaged foods. He replaced his morning donut with scrambled eggs and toast. Instead of chips, he kept roasted nuts or sliced vegetables within reach. He learned to bake chicken at home with herbs instead of buying fried food from a drive-thru. It wasn't easy at first. The habits were familiar, the flavors comforting, but the change in his body was undeniable. Within a couple of months, his legs felt more stable, and he noticed he could rise from a chair more easily. More than anything, he felt in control again, no longer at the mercy of something silently draining his strength. Trans fats may not be on the front of your mind, but they may still be on your plate. Taking the time to understand where they hide and how to avoid them can make a significant difference in how your muscles feel and function. Choose oils like olive or avocado for cooking. Pick snacks with real ingredients you can pronounce. Look for labels that say, "No partially hydrogenated oils," and favor foods that come from your kitchen instead of a factory. Your muscles are living, responsive tissues, and they respond to what you feed them. By clearing out harmful ingredients like trans fats, you make room for healing, strength, and vitality to return. Just like Thomas, you may find that what you thought was aging was, in part, something you could change, one meal at a time. In the next section, we'll talk about a more silent mistake. Not what you're eating, but what you're not. The hidden danger of a low-protein diet. Number 7, low-protein diet starving your muscles. Without knowing Joanne, a 75-year-old retired piano teacher, always considered herself a healthy eater. Her meals were light, her portions modest, and she rarely indulged in junk food. Breakfast was usually toast with jam and tea, lunch might be a bowl of soup, and dinner something simple like a salad or a small serving of pasta. She didn't snack much and avoided red meat as she got older. But despite what she believed was a clean diet, Joanne began to feel weaker year after year. Her arms no longer had the strength to lift grocery bags, her legs ached after short walks, and she struggled with basic tasks like opening jars or standing from a low chair. It wasn't until a routine checkup revealed signs of muscle loss that her doctor asked a key question: how much protein are you eating each day? Joanne blinked. She wasn't sure, and that uncertainty held the answer. As we age, our bodies require more protein, not less. It's a common misconception that older adults should eat lighter or reduce protein intake because they are less active. In reality, once you pass the age of 60, your muscles become less efficient at absorbing and using the protein you consume. That means you actually need more protein than you did in your younger years just to maintain the same level of strength and function. Without enough, your muscles begin to shrink, your balance suffers, and your risk of falls and fractures increases dramatically. A low-protein diet often sneaks in quietly. Toast and tea, soup and crackers, pasta without a real protein source. These meals might seem light and easy to digest, but they offer little in the way of muscle support. Without enough essential amino acids, the building blocks of muscle tissue, your body struggles to repair itself after normal daily activity, let alone exercise or illness. The result is gradual, silent muscle loss that often goes unnoticed until it becomes a serious issue. It's also important to understand that protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It plays a role in immune function, hormone balance, wound healing, and the prevention of frailty. Without enough protein, even a small illness or injury can take longer to recover from, and that recovery may come with permanent losses in mobility or independence. Joanne took the message to heart. She started adding an egg or some Greek yogurt to her breakfast, swapped her lunchtime soup for a tuna sandwich or lentil stew, and made sure dinner included a real protein source, whether it was chicken, tofu, beans, or fish. She even discovered protein smoothies with fruit and almond butter that she enjoyed in the afternoons. These small additions didn't overwhelm her routine. In fact, they made her meals more satisfying and gave her more consistent energy throughout the day. Within a few weeks, Joanne began to feel a difference. Her grip strength improved, she could walk farther without stopping, and even her posture felt more stable. She didn't feel like she had turned back time. She felt like she had reclaimed it. The power was still inside her body. It had simply been waiting for the right fuel. If you're unsure whether you're getting enough protein, take a closer look at your meals. Are there at least 20 to 30 grams of protein at each sitting? Are you including a variety of sources, animal-based or plant-based, that give your muscles what they need to stay strong? You don't need to eat more food, you just need to eat smarter. Choose quality proteins like eggs, fish, chicken, beans, tofu, or Greek yogurt. Spread them out through the day rather than saving them all for dinner. Your muscles need constant care, and feeding them well is one of the most loving things you can do for your future self. Joanne thought she was eating light and healthy. What she didn't realize was that she was underfeeding the very tissue that helped her move, lift, and live independently. Don't let the same happen to you. Your muscles are always listening. Make sure you're giving them something worth listening to. Now that we've uncovered all 7 foods and habits that harm your muscle health after 60, let's bring everything together with a final message of hope and empowerment in our conclusion. Conclusion. As we've seen throughout this video, losing muscle after 60 isn't just a natural part of aging. It's something that can be slowed down and even reversed with the right choices. The foods we eat each day have a quiet but powerful influence on our strength, energy, and independence. Sugar, alcohol, fast food, soda, ultra-processed meals, trans fats, and a low-protein diet may seem harmless or convenient in the moment. But over time, they chip away at the very foundation of your body, your muscles. But here's the good news. Change is always possible, no matter your age. By removing harmful foods and replacing them with nourishing, protein-rich, anti-inflammatory alternatives, you give your muscles the support they've been waiting for. You don't need a perfect diet or a complicated plan. Just one better choice at a time, one meal, one habit, one small step can lead to real improvements in strength, balance, and overall well-being. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply asking for the care it deserves. And the moment you begin to listen, you begin to take back your power. So ask yourself, what will I do today to protect my strength for tomorrow? Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.